be fighting for that #1 spot himself.
I mean, Thibaut Courtois came out and said, I'm top dog, I'm #1, and then Atletico Madrid put 5 goals past him in that first half before he came off.
It looks like he's young, because you don't say that, especially before playing Atletico Madrid. I think it's good to have competition, but the goalkeeper position is very special. And sometimes a team needs to know who is the #1. Because you play week in, week out, you need to know the distance, you need to know the communication. It's a different position to anyone on the pitch. And this competition between themselves and people coming out, I don't think it's good for Real Madrid. Now, Navas is Zidane goalkeeper. I would be surprised if he doesn't play. You know, it's something extra that maybe we don't know. Of course, you know, when you buy a goalkeeper for so much money as well, he must play. So it's a little bit tricky.
Yeah, what Zidane gets, what he wants, Zidane gets. But what did you make of that Real Madrid lineup?
Well, I think we were talking with Paul, maybe midfield can change a little bit today. The 2-1 or 1-2, because Valverde likes to sit. We see if they play the same system that yesterday, with Hazard left, or if they go back to the original 4-3-3, thinking on Casemiro, no, coming back in the middle. But we need to see more. I want to see Hazard getting the ball and creating chances and linking with people and getting in the box. And seeing the goalkeeper of Fenerbahce more than Navas. And that was totally the opposite yesterday. Every time it was some danger, it was Navas making a save. And that's not Real Madrid. We're talking about Real Madrid here, eh? One of the top of the biggest club in the world. So it's difficult to accept that.
Big season for Vinicius coming up, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a number of young players that are going to try and push to get in that team. Saw some exciting stuff yesterday. Another opportunity for him today. I think I'd like to see Real Madrid play 4-3-3 today. I hope they do play with a holding player and push Isco and Toni Kroos on a little bit higher up the pitch and get Hazard on the left, where I think he's more comfortable. And hopefully we're going to see a better performance from Real Madrid today, because it was flat yesterday. They're playing weaker opposition in this game, and there's an opportunity for them to put in a performance.
They need to gather momentum quickly. I mean, the 16th of August, start of La Liga. They don't want to even drop a hair behind Barcelona, and that would be disastrous. Falling behind Atletico, sort of unthinkable, really.
Yes, it's true. You know, one thing that all coaches, and I think Paul is the same, we are all the same, we want the team to be done by the 1st of July. That never happened. And even with the rules that they are changing in certain places now, that they try to close the window before the league starts, you will expect them to have... People will always do deals in the last few minutes, and that doesn't help your preparation. Because I would like to see if Real Madrid this year is going to play with Marcelo and Hazard on the left, to be playing week in, week out in this pre-season on the left, to start knowing each other, linking, helping each other, knowing the movements. And it didn't happen in these last few games because we see Hazard, whatever, a little bit free. And sometimes that freedom can make things difficult for the rest. So I agree with Paul. I would like them to see today a proper 4-3-3 with Hazard on the left and see if they can make the difference with Marcelo.
And what about their transfer activity? Because they spent over 270 million being linked to Paul Pogba. That would take it up to 400 million. They're not going to know what to do with all these players.
The point is, who is going to play from those 270 million? That's the situation, because the team that it looks like Zidane is trying to play is more or less the one he left with Ronaldo and Hazard on. And that's it. So all those other millions, they're going to be difficult for them to jump in. Then Pogba, it will be a different matter. So I don't know where these new players they're going to fit in the team.
Yeah, we said yesterday, didn't we? There's absolutely work to be done, both on the field with the tactics and integration of new players, but also, you know, a major amount of housekeeping to be done off the field with the Bale situation, James Rodriguez, and with the potential of other players coming in. Zidane will want this done as soon as possible so he can get on with the business of football on the pitch.
Well, the teams are out and will be back for kick-off very shortly.
And he unlocks the defence. Trusted Trader, sponsoring evenings on ITV4. TrustedTrader.com.
Legs, and everybody! Mr. Frankie Dettori! Oi, oi! You think that was good? Check out this beauty.
And Ladbrokes get a free odds boost on every race at Glorious Goodwood.
Right, Horsey McHorseface, we've got a race to win.
How dare you? My name is Sebastian.
Ladbrokes, where the nation plays.
That's tightened things up at the back. Trusted Trader, sponsoring evenings on ITV4.
TrustedTrader.com.
We'll have live action later between Tottenham and Bayern, but now third place in the Audi Cup is up for grabs between Real and Fenerbahce. In the commentary box for us are Terry Gibson and Seb Hutchinson.
Thanks, Selena. A poor pre-season so far for Real Madrid. 3 defeats and a win on penalties, all that Los Blancos have to show as far as results are concerned. They field a strong side this evening with the likes of Benzema and Hazard retained, with Vinicius Jr. hoping to take advantage of a shaky Fenerbahce defence. Young Uruguayan Federico Valverde should sit deepest in midfield. Fenerbahce went through 3 captains yesterday, and today they see a 4th in Alper Potuk. The Turkish international didn't play any of the game yesterday. And against Bayern, the big moment for Fenerbahce was losing captain Hassan Al-Kadrim, and from that moment on they struggled, and none more so than Nabil Darir, forced to play out of position, and it seems like he'll do the same again tonight at left back. Toni Kroos, one of the big names for Real Madrid, who in pre-season, it has to be said, have flattered to deceive. We'll see tonight, though, if they don't beat this Fenerbahce side, who were pretty poor last night, even more questions will be asked. Will be the Turkish side to get us underway. Vedat Maric, the man standing over the ball, and they've made quite a few changes from their team yesterday, and they get us underway. The 3rd place match in the 2019 Audi Cup. And Terry Gibson, well, Real, as I said before, iffy pre-season to say the least. Anything but a dominant victory tonight.
Well, I think this goes back to the end of last season when Zidane came into the club with 11 league games remaining, and there was no new manager bounce in terms of results. He failed to win 6 of those games, just winning 5. The form has continued into pre-season. A lot of money spent in the transfer market. In fairness to Zidane, there is a number of players still not involved, either through injury or returning back late for pre-season duty due to international commitments. But his simple comment was he thinks they're doing all right. He said, we just need a win, and that's desperately what they need today.
Judging on Fenerbahce's performance last night, it's very much a possibility. There's a few less yellow shirts in the crowd than there were last night. Said in that game, large Turkish population in Germany, and plenty of support for Fenerbahce last night. Not that it helped them too much. We expect, saw with Bayern yesterday, for Real to have plenty of the ball. And in many ways, we looked at that Fenerbahce defence yesterday. A few of these Real Madrid players will be licking their lips, especially on that right-hand side.
Well, there will be. You look at it was self-inflicted. I mean, fair play to Bayern, scoring 6 goals, and Thomas Müller in particular had an outstanding game. But some of the defending was absolutely horrific from Fenerbahce. They were playing a high line in the opposing half. There was getting caught on possession in their own penalty area and giving the goal away. So it is certainly a game that Real Madrid clearly should be favourites, but I somehow don't expect Fenerbahce to defend as badly as they did yesterday.
You have to give a lot of credit to Bayern, of course, in that home ground. He put on a show, and they look ready for the new season. Nacho under pressure for Maric, the big Kosovan striker who barely had a touch last night. Salam, the full-back, who came on at half-time yesterday. Monsieur Isla was the first-half right-back, one of the first-half captains as well. Well, he conceded a penalty. Many players had eye-catching games in a positive sense for the Turkish side. Turkish side who have had a very difficult year, to say the least. point earlier this year. Last season, they were bottom of the Turkish Superliga. Covered enough to finish 6th, but still no European football for such a proud club. Here's Marcelo for Real, and Benzema peeling away to the left, being booed by the crowd here. Benzema making that ball across, there's no there for it.
Certainly Fenerbahce will be a lot more organised than they were yesterday. They will be more focused. They won't want to be as embarrassed as they were in yesterday's game, where they were 5-0 down at half-time. You can see already it looks as if they're working a touch harder defensively, more organised, more compact than we saw yesterday, but that was the case in the opening stages against Bayern Munich, and somehow the defence went all over the place and looked really untidy.
Here's Vinicius. And off he goes here, and 3 or 4 Fenerbahce players round him, but they may have opened up the Turkish side here. Benzema, not tall enough. Marcelo. Hazard. And not the best ball in. And we've said it several times yesterday, a little off the pace, Eden Hazard.
You can see the goalkeeper there outside by India, that's asking his teammates just to slow things down and settle things down. Real Madrid need to do the opposite. And that was the case there. Vinicius looked right. Benzema and Eden Hazard was unfortunate with a cross into the goalkeeper's arms, but it's going to be tough for Eden Hazard today. 1 or 2 of the other players for Real Madrid played a considerable amount of minutes yesterday.
Nice touch in there from Kruse, who's the big signing for Fenerbahce from the Bundesliga. That's Kruse, who scored their only goal yesterday.
Toni Kroos is part of the 2-man central midfield, we think, for Real Madrid. Appears to be the case so far. Just with the foul there on Alper Potuk.
Potuk, who's usually a wide player, slipping into that midfield at the moment for Fenerbahce. Kadiolu's gone out to the right-hand side, the young Dutchman. Try something different, Fenerbahce. This is a Fenerbahce team in transition. Lost loads of players in the summer already. It's up a few cheaper players. Here's Gary Rodriguez. Shakes off the tackle. Rodriguez! Great start from Fenerbahce. Real Madrid concede again in pre-season. Sloppy at the back again. The pace of Gary Rodriguez getting in behind and opening the scoring here. I'd like to say I'm surprised, but I'm not really.
Well, the consequence in pre-season games for Real Madrid is alarming. The amount of early goals they've conceded in games. This is the first any sort of attack from Fenerbahce. It's fantastic skill and determination from Gary Rodriguez to break away from the Real Madrid defence. Not too much resistance. And an attempt there that hits with plenty of power. It's close to the goalkeeper, Keylor Navas. Should he do better? Certainly Odriozola should. He goes to ground. You see Gary Rodriguez has time to set his aim and finishes it off really well for Fenerbahce.
Question marks on Navas there, not to criticise probably Real Madrid's best player yesterday. To go a little under him, but finish all the same from Gary Rodriguez, who was taken off at half-time against Bayern Munich. The ex-Galatasaray player, making Fenerbahce fans smile.
You lose 6-1 24 hours ago to Bayern Munich. You all come into this game facing Real Madrid with intrepidation, but that will certainly give Fenerbahce encouragement and real determination now to hold on, to stay in the game for as long as they possibly can, to hold on to the lead and make life really difficult for them.
Effectively to play as a second fiddle right back. And that seems to be the question marks over Real Madrid again in some of their signings in the summer. Ask you about that later, Terry, but here comes Salah. Plenty of numbers in attack here, Fenerbahce. They're getting it behind rather easily. Kadiolu, oh, hanging it up brilliantly. And Maric with a header. And it seemed destined to hit the back of the net. And Navas to the rescue again for Real. Across this competition, they've had him to thank. Maric wants the ball in again. And Terry, before you look back on that, Marucci didn't have a cross to eat off, I should say, yesterday. And straight away, you can see why Bayern stopped that avenue.
You can see why Fenerbahce have spent money on bringing him into the club. 17 goals last season, second top scorer in the Turkish Super League. And you give him the service, he's big, strong, powerful. That would have been shocking, though, if Fenerbahce had got the second goal quickly after the first to put themselves 2-0 up. They were unlucky not to.
Isco. Beautiful balance that Isco has, and he was impeded there. And it's a free kick in a pretty decent position.
They spent the money. It's £3 million, wasn't it? It's hardly breaking the bank, but...
Taken quickly by Isco. He plays it across the face of goal. They're caught out there, Fenerbahce. But it's a miscued effort from Vinicius. But yeah, we're talking about the financial problems of Fenerbahce. That's a lot of money for them at the moment, the state of affairs.
It certainly is, and they brought a lot of money into the club with the sale of a player for £14 million to Napoli. They haven't spent anywhere near that amount to try and improve the squad. And you can see there Vinicius with a really good chance at the far post, hits it into the ground, and a comfortable save eventually for Altay Bayindir, and it shouldn't have been.
Tufan, space to shoot, so much space to shoot, and ball was going all over the place for Navas there. He just pushed it behind. Anyone want to close Tufan down?
Well, talk about encouragement for the Fenerbahce players, but and also they've taken confidence from the way that they've started the game. Not just taking the lead, but the amount of possession they have, the amount of space they're finding in attacking positions. And another good attempt there, long range from Tufan.
No Ramos today for Real Madrid. The captain is Marcelo. Cruz's corner. Again, there's Reyes with a header. Much competition for it. Gelson wants the throw, and he's not going to get it. Fenerbahce were pretty good on the counter-attack against Bayern in the early stages, but just weren't really gelling in that area. But they're getting in behind that Real Madrid defence so easily at the moment. Look at this here, that ball across. Vinicius does well to shake off Rodriguez. Can they get moving here? This ball in towards Isco. Just behind Hazard. Fenerbahce fans with the boos, trying to put off the superstars. Tufan. And they were guilty of giving the ball away just outside their penalty area yesterday. And Bayern were onto them quickly. Not the same sharpness from the Spanish side. Rizzola. Vinicius. Plays it low. Oh, the defenders missed it, and Benzema will tuck it away. Another error at the back for Fenerbahce cost them a goal at the Audi Cup. And Karim Benzema, one of Zidane's favourites, gets on the score sheet.
What a good start for Fenerbahce, only lasted 11 minutes. They look tidy, they look dangerous going forward. But yet again, mistakes in defence are repeated. And it allows Real Madrid to get back on level terms pretty quickly. Should ease the anxiety of the Real Madrid team. You can see there, it's a horrible defensive mistake. This time it's from Diego Reyes, who should cut out the cross. Vinicius drills it towards the far post. Should be a straightforward clearance. Benzema gets away from Salam, who thinks his teammate is just going to clear the ball. Straightforward for Benzema to control and roll it past the goalkeeper by India.
Karim Benzema has had so many doubters in recent years, but he does still find the net for Real Madrid. They are level after looking pretty shaky. And they probably, anyways, won't value that goal that much, because chances of that happening in the season are that often that the centre-back's going to miss a simple ball across like that.
I think Zidane will be grateful for the equaliser. The pressure is building. Let's go down, a goal down against Fenerbahce after losing to Spurs, getting thrashed by Atletico, drawing with Arsenal, losing to Bayern Munich. only winning half of his league games in the last season. He'll be grateful that his team rectified the early problems, and he'll be hoping now that his team go on and score goals, win the game, don't concede anymore.
Well, Fenerbahce brought this man in, Ersin Yanal, midway through last season, and who won the title, their last title in 2013-14. He's coming to try and get Fenerbahce, make them competitive in Turkey again at the very least. It was about 10 years ago where they had a pretty decent side with the likes of Alex in it, who were very competitive in the Champions League. Some top players have played for Fenerbahce as well. So Robin van Persie. There's Marcelo. Lovely ball through. Benzema! Good stop from Bayendir, the young goalkeeper. Another of Fenerbahce's new signings.
That was better in terms of quality and sharpness from Real Madrid. Marcelo always going to be a threat attacking-wise, and trying to service Karim Benzema there. He was unlucky with the finish.
Here come Real again. Bayendir will claim, but there was a handball right on the edge of the penalty area. That was very close. They get a free kick here. Chance to get the centre-backs up.
I think it's Gary Rodriguez, isn't it? Attempting to block the cross. His arm was outstretched. The assistant referee spotted it. Alerted the referee. Let's give Toni Kroos an opportunity to try and get some sort of outswinger, some sort of delivery to bigger players for Real Madrid, which doesn't include Sergio Ramos today.
Toni Kroos to take this. Just enough on that from Dirar. Salam chasing after that. Well to get it back into the Real Madrid half. Isco. Benzema looking to work it onto Hazard with Maric. It's pretty well marshalled yesterday by the Bayern centre-backs. Klasula, Jerome Boateng in the first half. Got a bit more joy when those Boateng went off. Doesn't get any easier really for Maric up against World Cup winner Varane. It's not to say that Real Madrid defence can't be got at. We've seen that already. Disagreement between Marcelo and Maric.
He's one of the few players that played the entire game yesterday as well, so it's not easy to play consecutive days. 90 minutes yesterday to start again against Real Madrid today.
Kroos. Marcelo. Now Benzema. Almost cutting it through there to Isco. Instead it's Vinicius. Odriozola wanted it on the overlap. He made some run there, the fullback, and Vinicius didn't play him in.
I think at times it's okay to ignore the movement off the ball if it draws a defender away. I think in general it's something that Vinicius has to improve on. He's still, of course, very young, just 19, making the right decisions. Odriozola won't be slow to tell him, having run 60 yards to help his teammate out, be ignored, but he decided there to take on the shot.
It feels like that right-sided berth. Who is going to be the man who's going to hold that shirt for much of the season? We still don't really know. There's Maric. Well read by Nacho. A lot of players fighting for that, really. Surprised. Some who are out of favour, inverted commas, like Gareth Bale.
I was going to say, who are you talking about?
Of course, Asensio forced out through injury. Looks like he's going to miss the majority of the season. It's Brahim Diaz signed from Manchester City, who impressed his appearances after moving to the club in January. Maybe Rodrigo will get a chance.
Lucas Vazquez is another player that's...
How can I forget Lucas Vazquez?
Certainly favoured by Zinedine Zidane.
Hazard. Gelson going in strong. Played pretty well yesterday for Fenerbahce. And here goes Rodriguez to use that pace again. And get away from Varane. Rodriguez, and it was just enough on the ball across to divert it into Navas's path there.
I think Varane does just to get the touch, doesn't he? The pace of Rodriguez is really causing problems. Somebody dragging out Rafael Varane to that side defensively.
Guardiola, lovely feet from the Dutchman. Couldn't keep his shot down. Mentioned it yesterday in the game yesterday, but just a highly thought of young player, Guardiola. Showed a little bit of his skill there, but the game is pretty fractured, isn't it, at times?
Yep, every time Fenerbahce do get the ball, go forward at pace, do attack quickly, there looks to be an end product, either a cross going into the penalty area, an attempted goal.
Hazard picks up the loose ball. Eden Hazard. And just there was another little example. Hazard of the last season. They've exploded onto that one.
But initial skill, the way he was able to stop dead in his tracks was enough comfortably to beat Diego Reyes. It was unfortunate Salam was there to help out.
It's a good ball from Hazard. That's a miscue. Almost fell into the path of Isco. Cruiser fighting with Kroos. Two ex-international teammates. Hazard. Nice skill and wins the free kick. Eden Hazard's skills not deserted him, that's for sure. Question marks over his match fitness. Here's Benzema. Goes Valverde. Guardiola. Moric. Goes in Marcelo, and it's opened up on the left-hand side now. They can drive forward with Dirar. Can he use Rodriguez here? Tufan in support. Rodriguez. Just lost a bit of momentum here. It's Dirar. That's good work from the Moroccan. Dirar. Did the ball go out of play initially? No, it didn't. It's going to get a corner here.
Of course it had. His last touch was a little bit too heavy. Although Dirar, Fenerbahce do get away with it. Look to see if Vedat Moric would pull away to the far post, which he should be doing. He was attacking the near post, but he's always going to be a threat, Moric, when decent crosses come into the penalty area.
It goes from Cruiser. And from Reyes. Guardiola trying to get around Isco. Hurt himself there, but just in that chance earlier on with Dirar, he wasn't comfortable on his left foot. The problem he had in the game, he couldn't really show much in attack either because he was just on his wrong side.
He's an experienced player, isn't he? And one or two problems yesterday. So the manager thinks a lot of him to keep him in the starting lineup.
He's in a bit of trouble here with Vinicius running at him and Vinicius slipping it through to Benzema. Good feet for the Frenchman. Just took one touch too many in the end. It was scrambled defence from Fenerbahce. But that transition there, the sort of problems that Fenerbahce had yesterday.
Both defences are struggling at the moment, aren't they, to contain the forwards. Reckless defending on the first occasion. See Diego Reyes there, somewhat making up for his error for the first goal. A bit of last-ditch defending, but
Hazard to Kroos. Kroos towards the back post. Tufan with an important header. Isco. Still Isco, lovely ball in. And Reyes puts it over.
There's no way this game is going to stay at 1-1. Attacks, both teams' attacking play is finding it quite straightforward to create chances, good chances.
Isco towards the back post by India Claims, 21-year-old. It's not the number one for Fenerbahce, but he'll look to push the main man Tekin. Valverde is just dropping deeper. Toni Kroos. Marcelo. Hazard. Benzema. Madrid couldn't find the Frenchman. Gelson. Good defensive work from him again. What to admire about Gelson as a centre-back. The defensive midfield as well. Seems like a decent client for Fenerbahce.
He did a good job yesterday when he moved into the holding midfield position, and likewise today he's got the face and athleticism and defensive know-how to get himself into the right position at the right time. Just look at the impact that Max Kruse has had on the game so far. 31, played the whole of the game yesterday. At the moment does look like a 31-year-old that played 90 minutes yesterday against Bayern Munich.
Seems to have swapped with Maric. Barely touched the ball yesterday. He's had a lot of touches this time round. And he had his shirt tucked, didn't matter. And they're up in support here. Odriozola. He rather telegraphed that ball. Vinicius stood still. Here's the young Brazilian Vinicius. Hazard. Benzema. Couldn't control it.